Okay. Before I get into episode 2, there's an overall aspect of this show I gotta talk about. I want to cover because it's just so beautiful. It's just so pathetically ridiculous. Okay. Um, Let me ask you. If I were to ask you, what's this show about? You'd go, well, it's pretty easy. It's pretty obvious. This show is about Ben is trying to rescue Leia and return her home, but it's being complicated by Reva because Reva at the same time wants to capture Ben and is causing all these issues, right? So the show, okay, is about Ben wants to rescue Leia, return her home, but at the same time, Reva wants to capture Ben, right? Wrong. No, it's not. That's not what this show is about. What you think this show is about, what you think is the plot and premise of the show, isn't. It's the backdrop of what this show is about. Okay? Because what this show is actually about, and I kid you not, what this show is about is having Ben and Leia visit that's 6 episodes, right? So this show is about having Ben and Leia visit 5 or 6 different planets. That's what this show is about. You know how I know? Because if this show was actually about Ben trying to rescue Leia and return her home, then that should have happened by the end of this episode. At the end of this episode, it should have been done. And if not at the end of episode 2, the end of episode 3. Now, I'll cover episode 3 in another video, but I'm going to be talking a little bit about episode 3 for this point. Okay? If this show was actually about Ben rescuing Leia and returning her home, by episode 2 or episode 3, the show would have been over. Because you know why? Ben's already rescued Leia. That part's done. The only thing that's left is getting Leia home. Now, if Reva was preventing Ben from being able to get Leia home, that would be different. Here's the thing. Reva is not preventing Ben from getting Leia home. The show is preventing Ben from getting Leia home. Because by the end of this episode, after Haja gets them to that transport ship, right? At the end of the episode, once Ben and Leia are on the transport ship, okay, all Ben has to do is contact Leia's father. Bale, I think it's pronounced. I'm just going to say Leia's father because I'm probably mispronouncing it. Okay? All Ben has to do is call Leia's father and go, I got your daughter. Here's our coordinates. Come pick us up. Or here's our destination. Come meet us at this transport ship's destination. This is the planet we're going to. Give us some coordinates where we can meet you on that planet. Because once Ben and Leia get off the transport ship, they're just able to walk to the coordinates that Haja gave them. So instead of having the coordinates that Haja gave them to go to, just contact Leia's father and have him give them some coordinates to go to. But the show can't do that, because if the show does that, then guess what? That would have meant Ben would have returned Leia back to her parents. And then the show would be over. Hence, the show can't be about rescuing Leia and returning her home. Because if Ben returns Leia home, the show's over. Okay? Now, if the show had gone out of its way to establish, if the show had established that Ben wasn't able to contact Leia's father, then that's fine. But the show didn't do that. If the show is establishing that Reva is stopping Ben from being able to contact Leia's father, then fine. But the show isn't establishing that. At the end of episode 2, he's free. He's gone. She doesn't even know where he's going. She doesn't even know where he's going. So he could have easily have contacted Leia's father and the show would have been over by episode 2. Hence, the show can't be about Ben rescuing Leia and returning her home, because then the show would be over. And if not in episode 2, in episode 3. Because at the end of episode 3, you have Tala, right, rescuing Ben from that fight with Darth Vader, then taking Ben and Leia to the mystery planet. Why? At the end of the episode, Tala's gone. She's free. She's home free. If Ben couldn't contact Leia's father in episode 2, well, why couldn't Tala have contacted Leia's father at the end of episode 3 and go, hey, I got your daughter, come pick her up? Or hell, fly to Alderaan. Tala could have, instead of Tala, okay, flying Ben and Leia to the mystery planet, she could have flown them to Alderaan and the show would have been over. But the show can't have Tala fly Leia to the home planet, because then the show would have been over. But I thought this show was about Ben rescuing Leia and returning her home. But that's why I'm saying this show isn't, because this show is going out of its way to make sure Ben doesn't return Leia to her home planet. Instead, every episode, every new character that is introduced, their actions and their point of existing exists to get Ben and Leia off the planet they're on to the next episode's planet. Haja has two. Okay, technically Taj has like 2.5 reasons for existing. The half reason is he's comic relief. And I'll get to Haja later, right? But Haja exists for 2 reasons, okay? One, he exists solely to get Ben and Leia off the planet Dayu, to the mystery planet, okay? And the reason he exists is so that Reva can mind force him or whatever to be able to figure out where Ben and Leia are going. That's the only reason. That's the reason Haja exists. Everything Haja does is about getting Ben and Leia off planet. Then we have episode 3. And we have Tala. Tala exists to be nothing more than a way of getting Ben and Leia off that planet to the next episode's planet. Okay? All the new characters that are introduced, their sole purpose, the whole point and focus of each episode and the purpose of the new characters are centered around and focused on being able to figure out how to get Ben and Leia off that planet they're on this episode to get to the planet they need to get to on next episode. Okay? Like Haja, okay? I want to cover a little bit. Now, don't get me wrong. I liked Haja. I thought Haja was great, okay? Because when they first showed Haja, pretending like he was supposed to be a Jedi, and he was having that conversation with the mother and the child, I was writing down notes going, okay, that's not how it works. That's stupid. That doesn't make sense. I was absolutely ready to destroy every aspect of every line Haja was saying to that mother and child, right? But the show ended up pulling a bait and switch, and it was like he was a con artist. That's not, and I went, okay, point to the show. The show got me because I was ready to burn Haja, but he was a con artist. I liked him. He was great, okay? But Haja exists, okay, because here's the thing. Okay, again, another reason Haja exists is because Ben, right, gets on Dayu. I think that's how you pronounce it, right? He gets on Dayu and has no idea what to do. Has no goddamn clue what to do. No idea where to go, who to contact. He has nothing. Okay? Ben is literally screwed. Okay? But the show is going, well, how do we progress the plot? we'll introduce a character named Haja. Now, Haja being the comic relief, okay, is to distract you from the fact that he is the Deus Ex Machina of the show, of the episode, okay? Because how is Ben gonna find, Leia? Well, thank you, plot convenience, Haja. Haja is like a living, breathing plot convenience Deus Ex Machina, literally designed to get, the show going, the plot going. And not only that, then we have Ben, right? I'm sorry, I'm all over the place. It's just that there's just so much stupid intertwined in the show that it just kind of crosses over. Because we have Ben, right? Finding out about Haja, right? How he's a Jedi, okay? I'll get into that'll. Okay, you know what? Screw it. Then we have Haja, right? Okay, so at the end of the episode, okay, he runs into Reva and goes, okay, so what's the bounty on me now? 1 million, 2 million credits? I go, first of all, why would there be a bounty on you? You're not actually a Jedi. There should be no actual bounty. Reva even says it, that you're not a Jedi. So, like, why would there be a bounty on Haja? And not only that, if there actually was a 1 million or 2 million bounty on Haja, every bounty hunter that's on that planet would have turned you in months ago. Okay? Like, if you had a 1 million credit bounty on you, you would have already been... The little kid that helps him, that little kid would have turned you in for 1 million credits. Are you kidding me? So I don't even know I don't even know where that even came from. So anyway, right? So we have Ben meet Haja, finds out that Haja is a con artist, and as much as I don't like the prequels, okay, at least be consistent, because Ben goes up to Haja and with the blaster, and I'm going, didn't this happen?
So uncivilized.
Did the writers of this show not watch the prequels? I mean, I know why I didn't pay attention to the prequels, but shouldn't have. Because I'm thinking, okay, maybe the reason he's using the blaster is he didn't bring his lightsaber. But then halfway through the episode, you have Leia notice that he brought his lightsaber. And I'm going, wait a minute, Ben. You had your for this entire show, you had your lightsaber. So then why the hell wouldn't you have shown your lightsaber to Haja? Okay? Why didn't you use your mind forces? Like, you could have done any, when Ben gets to the spice lab or whatever that was that Haja leads him to, and that's a whole other thing. There's that little hallway fight scene with Ben and the two guys, and they're fist fighting. And again, I'm thinking the reason they're fist fighting is because Ben didn't bring his lightsaber. But then the show goes, no, he had his lightsaber the entire time. It's why have Ben bring his lightsaber but then never actually using it? Like, if he hadn't brought his lightsaber, I would have understood him fist fighting the two guys in the hallway. I would have understood him pulling a blaster on Haja. But it was just... Anyway, where was I? Now I lost my train of thought. But anyway, right? So we have it so that Haja exists to be able to keep the plot moving forward. So Haja is able to tell Ben where the kidnappers are holding up Leia, right? And it's some type of, I guess, like a spice lab or whatever. So, you have the one scene that he's outside, and then in the next scene, Ben is inside. I'm going, well, how did Ben get in? Well, the show doesn't know how to get Ben in, so the show goes, well, we'll just skip it, because here's the thing, it's not like I would have gone, okay, maybe Ben is using his force powers, the mind manipulation or whatever, but the thing is, it can't be that. Because the show is going out of its way to establish that Ben doesn't use his force power. I mean, when he gets, when he has, oh my God, when he rescues Leia. Okay, there's just so much to cover. I'm sorry I'm going all over the place, but I don't give a shit, okay? So you have it that Ben is, Leia runs away again, right? And of course, Ben can't catch her because he's, whatever, right? That's not the point. So, Ben is having a shootout with like what, 2 or 3 bounty hunters, right? And Leia is at the press, is at that thing, right? And she thinks that she can try and jump over. I'm thinking she's like, oh, is she gonna, exhibit the force powers, and that's how she's able to make the jump or whatever. But apparently this 10-year-old dumbass kid thinks that she could make the leap. Why? Whatever. So she jumps and she gets on the rope, and now remember, while Leia is jumping and hanging on the rope, the two or three bounty hunters are still having a blaster fight with Ben. Except now the show is going, no. Now we need to have Ben, strain and focus and force to try and be able to use just enough of a force power to be able to soften Leia's landing. While Ben is doing that, all of a sudden, the blaster fire stops. Like, what happened to the 2 bounty hunters, or the 2 or 3 bounty hunters that were shooting at him? What did they do? Go, oh, well, hold on, wait a minute, guys. He's trying to rescue a little girl, so everybody stand down. All of a sudden, the bounty hunters are gone, okay? So that they can show Ben. Again, the whole point of that scene is to show that Ben, in 10 years hasn't used his force powers at all. So if he's not used his force powers, how the hell is he stealing the meat and episode? Whatever, right? So the show goes out of its way. And again, I'm not done with that dumbass scene, right? So all of a sudden, he rescues Leia, right? Now, again, he was on the roof, right? Where the 2 other bounty hunters were. But then all of a sudden the show goes, yeah, we don't want to do that fight. We don't want to do that blaster fight scene anymore. We're going to pretend it's over, because in the next scene, Ben is down in the alleyway below. What happened to the 2 other bounty hunters that were shooting at him? Oh, no, we're just going to ignore. We're just going to pretend. Not only that, while they're shooting, while the bounty hunters and Ben are doing the shooting, you had that foreground shot of where you see, Reva, and she sees the blaster fight, and it's like 4 or 5 buildings away. And the show shows Reva, right? Like literally using her force powers to like a leopard or a panther, just pouncing and just jumping. And I'm going, oh, okay. While Ben is gonna be in the middle of trying to save Leia, Reva's gonna show up. Nope, Reva never shows up. Reva was hauling ass from where she was to where Ben is, and not only did she not make it while Ben was trying to rescue Leia, he gets down from the roof, goes down to the alley. Reva still hasn't shown up, and then he just walks away with Leia, and Reva still hasn't shown up. Well, where the hell did Reva go? Oh, don't worry about it, because after Haja decides to... Okay, so, again, like I said, there's just so much stupid. So, you have it that the kid goes to Haja and go, hey, you know that guy you were helping? There's a bounty on him or whatever, right? And the show actually has it that the reason Haja goes after Ben is because he wants in on the bounty. Except between when he left to when he actually meets Ben, for some reason, when he meets Ben, he goes, yeah, you know what? I've decided to help you instead. When did that change of heart happen? When did that... Like, if the show had actually established that the little kid goes to Haja and say, hey, you know that guy? The bounty hunters are after him, or the Inquisitors are after him. If they had shown Haja going, oh, crap, and then and wanting to actually help, that would have made sense. But the show doesn't do that. The show has it that the only reason Haja gets off his ass is because he wants in on the bounty. But then the show goes, oh, well, wait a minute. We actually need Haja to help Ben. So by the time he actually shows up, we're going to actually change his entire character, change his entire motivation, change his entire basis because, oh yeah, we need to get Ben and Leia off this planet and on another planet. It's like, just think. Now I can't remember the original train of thought. So anyway, right? Again, so you have it that Ben is on this planet and he gets the hijack. Now here's the thing. After he rescues Leia, okay, he has no idea what to do. Like it's not is Ben stupid? Is Ben a moron? Obi-Wan Kenobi has never come across as a moron. Okay? He's not impulsive. He's not reckless. Okay? So you'd think that the show would actually have Ben take the time that even if he actually rescues Leia, would actually have a plan or a way to figure out how to get Leia off planet in the goddamn first place. But Ben has no idea how to even get off planet even after he rescues Leia anyway. So and not only that, right? So he goes into the one, so he goes into the spy stand or whatever it is, right? And he goes into the one room and it's not actually Leia, so he gets captured, right? And does he use his force powers? Does he use his lightsaber to, because again, there's like 5 or 6 guys, right? Of all the times to want to use your force powers or, oh, I don't know, use your lightsaber, okay, to take on 5 or 6 guys, that would have been a perfect time. But for some goddamn reason, was there some type of edict in the script where it's like, no matter what, Ben cannot use his lightsaber in episode 2. He can. It's got to be only in episode 3. So this episode went out of its way to make it so that Ben never uses his light. So anyway, he gets into the false room, the setup room, right? So now he has no idea where Leia is because where he thought Leia would be isn't really there. So what does the show do? Easy. They just have Ben open up another random door that just happens to have Leia in it. Then we have. This is such a stupid line because it was just so hilarious. This is yet one of another 1,000 examples of how the writers of this show have no idea what they're doing and they don't care. Okay? And it's when the Grand Inquisitor goes to Reva and actually has the balls to say this, right? He goes, your powers gave you station, but you still came from the gutter. Now, I understand why the writers had that line to try and establish, Reva's character and the motivation and, her whole whatever, right? But it's like, okay, unfortunately, that line doesn't just apply to Reva. It applies to their boss, okay? Because the Grand Inquisitor, have that line that the Grand Inquisitor says to Reva, apply that to your boss, moron. So again, Grand Inquisitor, go to your boss and go, hey, Lord Vader, your power gave you station, but you still came from slavery. Right? And see how that goes. And see what happens. Hey, writers of this show, the character's origin has no bearing on how force sensitive they are. Darth Vader is living proof of this. Maybe if you saw the sequels and actually understood the Star Wars story, you would realize how stupid that line is and how it makes no sense, seeing as how Darth Vader is the living contradiction of how... Anyway, it's just so stupid. Whatever. Anyway, I just thought I wanted to bring it up because it was, again, one and yet 1,000 other reasons how this show is stupid. The writers have no idea what they're doing, and whatever. Okay, then we have Leia. Okay, so Ben rescues Leia. I'm going all over the place. I don't care. I'm not bothering anymore. So Ben rescues Leia, and then Reva sends Ben's hologram to all the bounty hunters, right? And I'm looking at it and I'm going, that's not how bounty hunters worked in The Mandalorian. It's like, did the writers of this show not watch The Mandalorian to see how it worked? But again, they couldn't because whatever. It's just, it's not even that this show has any continuity with the movies. It doesn't even have continuity with the other Star Wars shows. It was whatever. I guess bounty hunters work based on what show you're on. I don't know. So anyway, Ben ends up taking out one of the bounty hunters, explains to Leia that he's a bounty hunter, and then Ben goes to the guy's wristwatch or whatever, right? And you see the hologram, and Leia sees Ben's hologram of Ben, right? And Leia goes, and because she saw, because it was a bounty hunter and she saw Ben's face, she comes to the logical conclusion, right? That goes, you're the reason I'm here, and that's why she bolts. And I'm going, how the hell did you come to that conclusion? How the hell did you see Ben's hologram on the bounty hunter and somehow get the connection that you're the reason you were kidnapped because of Ben? At best, the connection that she would have got was, Ben just freed you from the from being kidnapped. So the reason all these bounty hunters have Ben's hologram face is because he just rescued you. Like that would have been that would have been the connection, but then that wouldn't have given Leia a reason to want to run away from Ben. It's just like this show is ridiculous. I hate this show. I hate this goddamn show. It's so anyway. But here's the thing: to further establish, okay, how Leia, okay, wouldn't have been able to come up with that, is that Leia. Hold on. Is that Leia goes to Ben and goes, "How do I know you're not the real kidnapper?" And I'm going, you mean the guy that rescued you from the kidnappers? The guy that you just accused of being the reason you were kidnapped in the first place? You now somehow, this is the girl who has such a Sherlock Holmes, Detective Batman ability to deduce and whatever, saw Ben's hologram and went, "Oh, you're the reason I was kidnapped," but is the same brilliant deductionist that came up with, like, how do I know you're not the kidnapper? Like this. Now, obviously, there's more that I can cover, but I just I don't care anymore. I like with the Reva. Obviously, this has been covered and everybody knows about this, but like Reva telling Ben about Darth Vader, and Ben is shocked and surprised, and it's like why? Like why? I just this show is drain. It's so it just drains me. I just yeah, I don't care. I'm done. I don't care anymore. I got 4 more episodes of this shit. It just yeah, I'm done. I'm out of here. See ya.